NFL Week 14, Monday Night Football. We had Bengals versus Cowboys. Two teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, and the only reason to stay up and watch this game if you're on the East Coast is to watch Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase play, because this offense makes for great TV, and they did not disappoint. Joe Burrow threw for 369 and 3 scores along with an interception. Jamar Chase, $177 and 2 touchdowns. His second score coming off of one of the goofiest plays you'll ever see. If the NFL is indeed scripted, then this part of the script for sure came from the writers of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. 2020 game, Bengals have possession and it's 4th and 27. Bengals set up to punt. Ball snaps, punt is blocked. Nice. Ball floats, hits the ground, takes a bounce, and Amani Aruarie is right there to secure the ball for Dallas, and the ball slips from between his arms like a buttered turkey. And because Dallas touched the ball is still live for either team to recover for their offense. Cincinnati recovers. Bengals punt, Bengals get a new set of downs. Unbelievable. Cowboys were about to get the ball on the Bengals side of the field with under 2 minutes left. Forced the Bengals to use their timeouts and take the lead with little, if any, time remaining. Instead, Bengals get the ball. Jamar Chase scores his second touchdown 3 plays later. We're at the point now with certain teams where they just need the season to end yesterday. And that includes the Dallas Cowboys. Teams that have been struggling like this all year long. Every game feels like an eternity. Certainly change is coming to Dallas. Although, with Jerry Jones as the owner, I wouldn't be surprised if no changes are made at all. Over in San Francisco, 49ers get a much-needed victory as their playoff hopes continue to hang in the balance in the dreaded NFC West, beating the Chicago Bears by 25 points. Obviously, the season hasn't gone as planned for San Francisco, but getting a much-needed win, one would think, has to provide a small space of relief. However, that is not the case for Niners utility man Deebo Samuel. And to say that Deebo has been struggling this year would be an understatement. 12 games played, just 2 touchdowns, hasn't had the impact that he's used to having. Versus the Bears, 35 yards from scrimmage, not great. And less than a day after his team's Week 14 win, Deebo tweeted out, "Not struggling at all, just not getting the ball," he said with several exclamation points, which means he's dead ass serious. Deebo has the 3rd most targets for the 49ers this season, behind Jawan Jennings and George Kittle, but for Deebo, that's not enough. And at the same time, Deebo leads the Niners in dropped passes, which Twitter wasted no time pointing out in the community notes of his tweet, adding, quote, "He is struggling." Samuel has since deleted that tweet, which is pointless because the internet is undefeated, will remain undefeated. Screenshots galore, it's going to last forever. But just a lose-lose situation for the former All-Pro who's having an awful season, blaming his quarterback / head coach for not getting him more targets when statistically speaking, making a concerted effort to get Deebo more targets only hurts the team. And he chose to speak out on this topic, I'm sure causing a spark in the locker room, a negative spark that is, after a season-saving win. So now, on top of already having to game plan for the LA Rams next week, Kyle Shanahan and company, they're going to have to game plan on how to address Deebo Samuel to the media, who will for sure bring up Deebo's comments to Kyle Shanahan. Just a selfish player, bad timing, the last 49ers player that should be complaining about getting the ball more. I'd like to think that at some point in time, we'll be done with the diva receiver, but I know that's only wishful thinking. And speaking of diva receivers, ladies and gentlemen, A.J. Brown, the Philadelphia Eagles, narrowly escaped with a victory against the Carolina Panthers. The difference between a victory and a heartbreaking loss was a drop pass by Xavier Legette with under a minute left, beating 2 defenders by 3 steps all by himself. Sure, Bryce Young could have took some zip off the pass to hit Leggett more in stride, but still very much a catchable pass. Leggett leaps for it, gets the ball in his hands, shifts the ball to his body to secure it, and he couldn't maintain possession. That would have been a touchdown, and with the extra point, Panthers would have gone up by 1 with 47 seconds left in the game. Eagles had to sweat for that one, but they got the W. And again, after a win, a receiver is pissed. A.J. Brown, after the game, was asked, what do you think the offense needs to improve upon moving forward? And without hesitation, without even a full tick of a second on the clock moving after the question was asked, A.J. Brown responded, passing. He was also asked, how frustrating is it for you to get in a rhythm as a receiver when you're only throwing the ball 20 times a game? And he said, incredibly tough. If I were an Eagles fan, I wouldn't quite know how to feel about this. Thankfully, I don't have to know at all. Justin Jefferson would never pull any stuff like this. He's professional as hell. We're forever grateful. But you're 11-2. You have a chance at the 1 seed. You just won this game. And before you can breathe a full sigh of relief and begin to celebrate, one of your best players is complaining. And unlike Deebo Samuel, I can somewhat understand Brown's frustration outside looking in. He's one of the best receivers in the game. And with Devontae Smith, they have the talent to be one of the top receiving tandems in football. But with the Eagles being a run-first offense and with Saquon Barkley's success seemingly setting a new record every time he steps onto the football field, Philadelphia's passing game is SOL. The Eagles are dead last in pass attempts per game, 31st in passing yards per game. The last 3 games, Jalen Hurts is averaging under 200 yards passing. The receivers are getting no action, so I understand the frustration there. But you're 11-2. You're riding a 9-game winning streak. And to make a run in the playoffs, you need cohesion within the locker room. The opposition is the team that you're facing, not within yourselves. This is the worst time to bring this type of distraction on yourselves. This is the type of thing that can cause a leak in your foundation, leading to an inevitable collapse. So what does Philly do moving forward? Do they put more emphasis in the pass to appease A.J. Brown? The first 4 games of the season, when Hurts threw 30-plus attempts each, he threw 4 touchdowns and 4 picks. And the Eagles went 2-2. Since then, Hurts has thrown under 30 attempts per game, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception, resulting in 9 straight wins. I understand A.J. Brown is frustrated, but the fact is, you don't have the type of quarterback play that you need to warrant the volume of passing that you want if you want to continue winning games. Sure, you'll get your stats, but at the expense of your team's success. The Eagles are doing the right thing by allowing Saquon Barkley and the run game to be the driving force of their offense. It could break them apart eventually if the frustration continues, or this could be a moment where the players, the coaching staff, they air out their grievances internally, away from the cameras, away from social media, just inside the locker room. And they use this as a moment to unify and get back on focus and get back on track, continuing to dominate. And I tell you what, you got the Steelers at home next week. And in order to beat Mike Tomlin and his Steelers team, you can't have any distractions whatsoever. And of course, we got to talk about last Thursday night. I keep waiting for the Detroit Lions to slip up and start their regression for the sake of my Minnesota Vikings. And we almost got it Thanksgiving until Matt Eberflus happened. And we almost got it last Thursday night. Packers at Detroit. Big game for both teams. The Packers are still fighting to have a chance, outside looking in, still within distance of maybe winning the NFC North division. And the Lions, they're trying to stay ahead of everyone else. Down 14-17 in the third quarter, Packers pick off Jared Goff. Green Bay follows that up with a touchdown and goes up 21-17. Okay, we got a chance here. The downfall starts now. Nope, just kidding. From there, we got 3 lead changes, Detroit's up 31-28 with 8:39 left in the fourth quarter. Green Bay hits a field goal to tie it up, 31 all, under 4 minutes to go. Packers just need one stop to get the ball back to their offense. And that stop never happened. In fact, on 4th and 1 at Green Bay's 21, Dan Campbell and the Lions decide to go for it. At this point, you just need to make one play, and it's turnover on downs, and it doesn't happen. David Montgomery, he gets the first down. Detroit, they kick the field goal for the walk-off victory. And for Dan Campbell to make that call, going for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal with 43 seconds left, this man is nuts. But it works. It ended up working out for the Lions, taking the lead, leaving no time for Green Bay to rebuttal. Lions win. Buffalo Bills, please, I beg of you, please put an end to this madness. We can't keep letting the Lions get away with all this craziness led by a head coach that can only be described as a walking can of Monster Energy drink. Please, Bills Mafia, go to Detroit and bring them back down to earth with the rest of us mere mortals where they rightfully belong. And I know you're going to be pissed off. A 2-point loss in a thriller with the Rams snapping your 7-game winning streak. And Josh Allen, the front runner for MVP, is having his performance dismissed. You got Nick Wright saying Jared Goff's the real MVP. The disrespect. What are you going to do about it, Bills, huh? You going to sit there and take it? No, of course not. You know why? Because you have too much pride. And the Lions, they say they have pride, but you have more pride than them. It's time to stand up and do something about it. Use all that anger for the greater good. Unleash all the rage that you have built up against the Detroit Lions. You got this. And trust me when I say this, America's got your back.